And so we've come to build video number 2. I have, since the last video, I have assembled the drive shafts. I have assembled the rear ring gears, which actually have a set of planetaries inside of it. Pretty cool. I've got one set up in the truck, and the other one I have yet to do because I want to show you something. You see that right there? That is the new locking pin that goes in through this hole here that locks your differentials front and rear. Now the older models, take away all that and just have that little dinky spot right there, that little tiny bit, you were left with a grub screw. Now, just like the Wraith's drive shafts, they have pin through design, so it's all the way through. Now I want to set you guys down here for a minute, just so you guys can see what I'm doing here, because I'm going to be getting my hand all up in the shot and everything, and adjusting the camera, of course, as always, because I am horrible about this. Alright, camera's adjusted. Of course, they tell you to go ahead and assemble both of these at the same time, and we're going to want to pan in a little bit. Oh, too far. Alright, so we've gotten assembled. We have an assembled and we have a locked differential. The next step they recommend is to lubricate with their ceramic grease. Well, where I come from, ceramic grease is not going to cut it. So, we're going to go over here, bring in our buddy marine grease. I'm going to find my applicator, which is basically a pencil, so I can get down in there in that tube and get some of this awesome grease out. We're just going to slab it on the, slab it on that ring gear right there. Get all slathered on there. Then take and turn our differential to get that grease in there. You want it to be nice and smooth. As you can hear, you can still hear the gears making that grinding sound. That means that we need more grease. So, need more grease, just pack it as according. I mean, you don't want to overkill it because then you're going to be screwed. Your differential's not going to want to move. As you can see, mine has pulled up here on the sides. I want to get that back out. I want that back out, and I want it on the diff housing. Okay, now that that's been marine greased, and I towel my finger off. That's what she said. Now that that's said and done, we're going to take our other axle housing here. We're going to assemble it together with the other tube, so we've got a complete diff. And we check and make sure that there's no grinding or anything bad sounding in there before we seal her up. And of course I get a phone call again. This time, phone's gonna ring. Ain't no stopping it. Alright, so I'm satisfied with that sound. If you wonder what that is, that's the Sons of Anarchy theme song. Huge fan of the show. Huge fan. Can't wait for season 4 finale. But getting back on track now, it's calling for BA3 screws, which we go through here and look. You always go ahead and size up your screws before you start putting them in. You make sure you're getting the right ones. There's my BA3s. Unless they wanted... Is this a BA3 here? No. How about this? Oh, look, that's the right size. BA3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I have 4 of those. Let me check though on both of these. If it's a ×2, you do not want to. You don't want to do it too big. Alright, showing a coarse head. Is it saying? Yeah, it's saying make 2, and I have 1, 2, 3. I only have 4 of those long screws, so I'm gonna see if. No, see, that doesn't fit. See, here's the thing. Sometimes your screws don't fit. They're just a standard BA3 screw, but if you look real close, when you stick that BA3 in there, it just doesn't grab anything on the backside. So, the only possible thing that I can conceive of is a BA3 is that right there. That one goes all the way through. But it shows BA3 ×8, and I've only got 4 of those silver shiny screws. So, in the meantime, I'm going to cut now, and I'm going to look for, B screws, B bag, stupid. Alright, due to my own stupidity, I'm cutting that one, then we're going to, next clip will be both axles assembled. I just wanted to show you guys how the locker and everything was in there. Hey, it's time for another segment. This is going to be the final for the build 2 part of the Buckin Bronco. As you can see, I've got not 1, but 2 complete axles, which I know for one there's going to be a rear steer lockout, and then we've got our servo that's going to be powered. We've made it from step 6 to step 11. Assembling these are quite a pain in the ass, but now we're moving on here to actually setting up the steering servo, the servo bed, attaching the servo, and putting the little bumper guards around it, and actually setting up your front and your upper and lower linkages. That'd be so much cooler if they carved that in, wouldn't it? Either way, shows your radio. I'm not going to bother setting my sensor yet because it's not that hard to do. I'm just not going to hook up my steering servo right now. I'm just going to build the truck first, then I'll hook up all the electronics, which is usually what I do anyways. But I'm trying to get a projected image of what it's going to look like with axles underneath it now. It's going to sit up pretty high. I'm guessing it's going to sit about like that, maybe. I don't know, the springs are sitting over there, but I got to figure out how these drawbar links come into play, because they swing back and forth. I don't know, I guess we just flip the pages on it. Flip the pages and see where it goes. It's still talking about attaching rear tie rods. Options, rear steer, not running rear steer. Oh, look, there we go. There's connection to vehicle. Attaching axle housings. There's our linkages, building shocks. That's coming up. Attaching our springs. Attaching the dampers, the propeller shafts, which I gotta say, they don't look too impressive. Although they are rifle bored, they don't look that very stout. With the high lift, at least I had metal axles. Well, not metal axles, but I had metal drive shafts, which that was really nice because they telescoped. Well, of course, these are telescopic too, but I'm not so sure I'm liking the way that's put together so far. But as you can see, if we look up under the chassis here, not quite sure what the purpose of having these in here are for, but then again, this is only the second Tamiya I've ever built, or Tamiya. Tomato, tomato, potato, potato, who the hell cares? It's only the second vehicle by them I've ever built. So, as you can see, the parts trees getting smaller and smaller and smaller. I've dug into the B bag. I've got the B bag open because that has my links and stuff in it. It's got a bunch of extra hardware now that we're moving into. And after that, we're pretty much almost wrapped up with it. So I'm going to clip it right there.